What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got with and Rado. It's a sports podcast where we talk your favorite sports debates, sports highlights, and sports matchups. If you guys are watching right now, please make sure you go ahead and click that like button below and subscribe to the channel. We love every single one of you guys, and thanks for following along on this journey. If you guys want to check us out on our Patreon, please go ahead and do so. We got a lot of cool stuff for you there. If you guys want to ask us some questions for the show, if you guys want to ask us about a topic to do on the show, that's definitely the place to do it. And also, if you guys want to check us out on our social media sites, I'm at the Iconic Dude on Instagram and Melo. That's right. And we also have some special news for you guys right now. Breaking news, right?
Yes. Pretty much just we finally figured we needed, and we www.whoyougotpodcast.com. You'll find blogs to go on a little like reading a couple we're talking about, and obviously if it's games, I like to recap certain games.
Exactly.
The person you our merch. We just revamped. We're talking about hoods, hats, slides, and then we got everything going in there for the springer. And obviously, we got so that you can contact us. So questions, you comment on all the podcast blogs, emails when it comes to collaborations. I'll have a way to offer all at one inclusive spot, and we're so excited we're able to.
That's for sure. We're definitely excited about it, and I'm excited that people are going to be able to like read the blogs there. You know, like you said, we got all the videos there. Everything is in one place for you guys, so you don't have to like scramble around, go to YouTube, go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify for one place. Everything is in one place for you guys. That's www.whoyougotpodcast.com is a new website, so definitely go and check that out, guys. But Melo, you know, we haven't done an episode like this in a while, and it's because, you know, this whole year 2023 has been pretty much like NFL and NBA news, a lot of it. But what are we talking about today, man? I'm excited about our topic today. Let the people know.
Today's a great episode. First FC episode of the year. Obviously, we had when it comes to NBA kind of getting into mid-season and the NFL season with the Super Bowl. But let's be quite frank. Also, there wasn't that much to watch.
Right.
If we're being honest, 2 months was just really not there. You know, we find ourselves like who's gonna win this fight?
I totally agree with you. Yeah, the last good fight we saw was you know, the end of last year was Adesanya and Alex Pereira, honestly, and the beginning of the year we haven't seen anything good from the UFC really.
Exactly. I know. I would say that I did like the Moreno versus Figueiredo 4, but a lot of people were not happy with the way that ended. Thought that Brandon, and still think that Brandon is the better fighter. So at the end of the day, he got the belt.
I disagree though, but
and some people do, and that's why they're mad about it. Did because there's no way we're getting a fifth fight climactic to what we wanted it to be.
That's for sure.
So it was just like, but there is no way in hell you call UFC 285 anything but anticlimactic. The long 2 years of waiting for the debut of John Jones in the heavyweight versus Cyril Gane for the punch vacant heavyweight title, which we got to talk about that a little bit.
And Ngannou's not there anymore.
Obviously, exactly. Titles up for grabs, and like the black. Here comes Jones coming to save the division. So him and expect you to think. Another good fight we got in the card. A championship. Valentina Shevchenko Grasso That's going to be another good fight. And then wrapping up the third fight, but you know how we do it, fans.
Yeah.
The third fight on that card that we're going to talk about is Joff Neal versus
Shavkat
Shavkat.
Rachmanov. Just call him Shav Rock.
I practiced. I saw it again. Definitely went out the head. But yeah, and what do you think about these fights, man? It's gonna be a great
Man,
card. You
like you
think
said,
so?
it's been a 2 year wait since we've been waiting to see one of the forefathers of the UFC. You can call him. I mean, he's on the Mount Rushmore.
Godfather.
He's on the Mount Rushmore of the UFC. He is one of the
Oh
top
yeah.
four goats. I mean, he's back, and a lot of people have been waiting for him to come back. They've been waiting to see him. Obviously, he's had like some trouble in the past 2 years, really getting back to come back and fight. But the UFC just came back and they just gave him a heavyweight bout, and he's going not up against who the champion used to be, but against a guy in Cyril Gain who, man, this is gonna be a great fight. But
Technically, technically, he touched heavyweight gold before.
he has.
Might not agree. It was the interim.
It's an interim. It's an interim. I'll give him
It was
that.
the
I'll give him
interim.
that. But if Francis was still there, he would have taken care of business. I'm thinking. I'm not sure why the UFC really didn't want to give him a contract, and we can even get into some of that. But honestly, all the fights are great. Even the co-championship matchup there. You got two belts on the line that night, which is great. And Shevchenko is a beast, and she has been a beast for the last 2-3 years almost. So we definitely can't wait to see her.
Listen, I would say you got one of the guys who was considered one of the goats of UFC, and truthfully, you got the damn near guaranteed second best goat in women's history. A fight like the other day, it's gonna be a
Yeah, and of course then Jeff Neal, who's a proven guy, versus Shavkat Rock. I call him Rockmanoff. Yeah,
I'll tell
but this man is also a monster, and a lot of people haven't seen him, but they definitely will on Saturday night, March 5th. It's gonna be definitely a great bout right there. So let's start it off. You want to go off with the first one, Jeff Neal versus Shavkat Rachmanov?
with this fight, walks way to a tough division. You got speed, you got accuracy, you got power, and those middle classes between, I would say, 170 is prime athleticism
Yeah.
right there. Definitely had a good run outs over some good people. He beat I think Vincent LeCue, Perry, Nico Price, and Frank Kamara. Was on a good streak until Wonder Boy stopped him a few years. Then he's been trying to return to victory and got wins, getting himself back. But like people honestly don't know his name. He's nice, and I think he's undefeated in all his professional fights. Eight outs, four in the UFC. People know him, so four. And one of the recent ones from is him submitting Neil Magny. But he polished. Someone who's gonna come in and throw a fight. Neil is someone who's set the match. Why? I definitely don't think that this fight.
Hmm.
No way at all. You got them boys. They're about to go in there and pretty much do what they do. Um, is the lay of the land, and truthfully, that's kind of why couple cards haven't is because they definitely
Good point.
versus right.
Good point.
And this isn't.
Yep.
I don't think it's gonna put this. Jeff Neal, a lot more volume with the hands, a lot more tech. He's gonna try to get a knockout. But at the end of the day, the game changer is rocking his wrestling. While we know Neal isn't a slouch, he only really uses his grappling. When it comes to rock, he's pretty up and down, just way better. when it comes to being. He's gonna try to take the fight to him early. He be able to much get him on the ground, get a lot of ground control. But with those type of fighters, isn't a lot of grappling or a lot of try to throw blows. And if
That's
he
true.
sees any opening, he's gonna go in for that submission.
Mm.
Um, but I definitely do think that at some point he's gonna open himself up. Is losing this fight by a submission,
Mm.
and I do got it in the second round, uh, or like I said, go the distance. But I don't even think it's gonna get to the third round. Neil's gonna try to end the fight, and then he's pretty much second round. And I do think it can be a ground where they pull him off, but I know turn into a submission.
Yeah, man. Ooh, I mean, to be honest, you pretty much laid it out very, very well, and you laid it out perfect, pretty much how I was gonna lay it out. I mean, like you said, you got Jeff, who's a knockout guy. He likes to start out hot and early, and he likes to use up a lot of his energy early. Both these guys, they've had a lot of success beating guys in the first round. So that's one thing that we're gonna have to watch, because I think that they're both gonna be very energetic. You know, this is one of their best fights in both of their careers, and I definitely could see them both like using up their energy early. So we'll definitely have to see in the first round if Jeff Neal tries to use his striking ability a lot more and tries to keep himself away from Shava and really getting himself off the ground. Because, like you said, my man Rock is a monster on the ground. He's so good as a wrestler. He knows how to like get into so many different positions on the ground, and he's also very well at the defense, wrestling defense. He's very good at. That's what a lot of people are not aware of. He hasn't had many UFC fights, but I just recently watched his fight against Magna, and man, the way he took care of him, the way that even when he was on the ground, there was one point where Magna got on his back, but he was able to like literally slip away from it, and he's very good at slipping away from his opponents. In this fight, I pretty much see it very similar to what you see, and I really can't see much of this being a debate, because this is one of those fights where, I mean, I think Rock is definitely the favorite, and him being 16-0, it shows that he could take care of business against a lot of competition, UFC competition, and they both had one guy that they've fought against, and it was Magny. That was their the same opponent that they had, and Rock just beat him, and Jeff lost to him, which was like what, 3 or 4 fights ago. So that's the one common opponent they have. I got this fight similar to you, except I actually have it as a knockout. I think that he is gonna end up on top, and they're gonna like stop it, probably like around the second round as well, because I do think they're going to try to use up their energy in the first round, and Neil is not going to try to go down. He's going to try to keep himself away from the fence, and I think they're going to try to stay around the middle. He's definitely going to try to use a lot of those strikes, but with the length that Rock has, and with the wrestling ability, I think that he's going to try to get some takedowns, and especially in the beginning of the second round. So I got this as knockout, second round.
It's definitely, like I think I said actually before we started, I'm making sure who the favorite was for this fight. Came a clear consensus that no, even though one person is more experienced, we all we all see who has skill. Like I said, lately you see the wrestling just really for a lot of people lately, and that just seems what a lot of fighters are leaning towards, especially when you got the up and comers who are the organization. Also don't have the hand skill, but they definitely know how to wrestle. They know how to grapple. They know how to. As long as they keep building up their hands, a lot of them are just fierce
That's true.
competitors.
You're right about that. Striking versus wrestling has been a theme in the UFC this past year, and it looks like wrestling's been taking care of business. I mean,
Yep.
I'm not saying that Neil doesn't have knockout ability, because my man, out of his 15 fights, he's got 8 knockouts, and when he does knock people out, it's usually in the first round. So one thing about him, if he gets a nice punch on you, I think that he can get your bell ringing, and then if you start getting a little bit of dizzy, he just moves forward on you. But I think that with Rock having a little bit more reach, I think he's going to be able to keep that distance away, especially in the first round.
Nah, 100%, and definitely, obviously, we got a couple youngsters starting off the main card, but this is definitely one to really start the fireworks off. And the next co-main event that we got to talk about is, just as we mentioned, a women's flyweight division championship on the line. Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. What do you think about this fight, man? Who you got coming out of this with
I'm excited about this fight, man. A lot of people already got this as Valentina beating. Shevchenko is one of the GOATs. You said it earlier, in the beginning of the podcast when we talked about John Jones and her. She's one of the female GOATs. She's literally on the Mount Rushmore of female fighters. You got Ronda Rousey, Nunes, and I think she's probably third right there. She could be even second above Nunes, honestly, now that I think about it, because she's had more title defenses. She's had 7 title defenses since she's had.
Wait, who you?
So I was.
Who you got first?
I mean, as far as like talent, in a span of, I think Ronda Rousey was the most talented female fighter to ever fight in the UFC, ever. Just the span that she had was so short. But as far as like talent wise and ability, I think that she was the GOAT. I still have to give it to her, honestly. I mean, Shevchenko's a beast. Don't get it twisted. I'll probably put her second. I think I would put her above Nunes, even though Nunes was able to, get her title back, and then she lost it and then she got it back. But I still think Valentina, just being able to have 7 title defenses, that puts her as a top 2 fighter for me, women's of all time. Now, getting into this fight, though.
So, wait.
Okay, we can talk about that real quick.
What? Just. So, you got Rousey, Valentina.
I mean, yeah, I would have to, yeah. Who you got as top female fighters of all time? Top 3 female fighters of all time. From you.
Nunes, Valentino, Rousey. That's wild.
See, I think that like Valentina being able to like keep her title for a longer period of time puts her just above Nunes a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's been what? This is going on year 5, but it's only 7.
7 title defenses. Seven title defenses, but I mean, if you look at Rousey's career as a whole, like the people that she beat, plus in the fashion that she beat them, and obviously she doesn't have 7 title defenses. I think she's only at 3 title defenses, but I still think that her career was incredible in the UFC, and she's definitely deserves to be in that GOAT conversation.
Yeah. Oh, we definitely gonna have to come back and revisit that order, though.
Yeah, we will. Well, so just to get it clear, your top 3 of all time female fighters. You got, say it again. Top 3 female fighters of all time.
Nunes, Valentina, and Rousey.
Right. And my top 3 female fighters of all time, I got Rousey, Valentina, and Nunes. Wow. So I mean, who knows if she wins this one? Maybe she moves up for me. But you know what, man? I think I'll be honest. I think her time is up. I think Valentina's time is up.
What?
Yeah, and a lot of people want to just give this right to her. This is one of the biggest, as far as the Vegas odds, one of the biggest matchups. She's at like 730, minus 730, and Grasso's at plus 530. Which, if Grasso wins this, it would be, I think, the second biggest upset in UFC history. Now, as far as title odds goes, in a title fight. But now, if we get to this fight, we know Valentina, what she can do on the ground. She can take care of business on the ground. The question is, what's going to happen on the ground? Because I think first round is going to be mostly on the ground. This is a 5-round matchup. One thing about Grasso, she can take people to the distance. She's able to do that. She's been able to do that throughout her career, and she's no slouch, man. When she fights people, she literally beats them up. They like even in the losses that she's had, the 3 losses, she made sure that she was able to like beat up the other person where they were both looking terrible. It was the fight that she had. It was like 4 fights ago in like 20. It was Carla Esparza that she fought. I mean, they were both looking terrible at the end of the fight. They both looked beat up, even though Grasso lost that fight. Grasso is great on the ground as well. I know Valentina's the GOAT on the ground, but Grasso is going to be great on the ground. I think this fight is going to go the distance. The question is, who gives the most significant strikes? Most people are going to say that, yeah, Valentina's going to be able to get faster strikes, and usually she gets more strikes than most women. If you look at her strikes overall in her past fights. I look at Grasso as a fast fighter as well. She likes to start out fast, and she likes to throw a lot of strikes. So that's actually going to give her an advantage if you're just looking at the numbers. And looking at the numbers, I think that they're going to be pretty even as far as significant strikes, as far as total, punches landed. The question is going to be, time on the ground. Who has more control on the ground? And because I believe this fight's going to the distance. I have it as a 5-round matchup. And I do think that Grasso is going to take the upset, and is going to be one of the biggest upsets, though. But I want to hear some of your analysis on this fight, though. Grasso versus Valentina. Who you got for this one?
So you definitely make up points about their strengths, but I feel like the analysis on how they was off. So 100%, like Grasso quick on the feet, loves to find her moment, got good footwork. She definitely throws good combos, but still, Valentina might be more prolific.
She is.
It's very close, very close. But Valentina does take the edge on that a little bit. And like you said, with the wrestling, see, while yes, she does do good. I still think Valentina has to get the edge, where Valentina is more a better wrestler.
You're right. You're right
There's
about
a
that.
problem.
She's definitely the better wrestler.
So you got her excelling her on those levels, but the problem is the wrestler. While you think that will be Grasso's strengths, I actually think that's one of her weaknesses. With her fighting wrestlers, Garza, i.e., Tatiana Suarez, she loses. If she can't out wrestle them,
It's true.
she loses. So now you got someone who you won't be able to out wrestle. You right.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we all know Valentina. 7 title defenses, she takes every single one of them to the ground.
True.
She is going to take this fight to the ground. She's going to try to get a takedown. And while Grasso got 64% takedown, you're gonna what 4 for 9? Those 5, and that's the thing. 64 is against good wrestle, like average fighters. That percentage is gonna drop. If you're facing the Valentina, you're facing the champion. That 64% is gonna drop to under 50.
True.
So
It's definitely gonna drop.
Those 5 times that she drop you, you're in trouble. The amount of control that she's gonna keep on the ground is gonna. I think
that's a good point. I was gonna say that's gonna be the key to the fight. I think that's gonna be the key to the fight. That control fight, because like I said, I believe that they're both gonna be very, very close as far as the striking. If you look at their strikes at the end of it, it's gonna be close. The question is gonna be that control time. And while I agree with you, I think that Valentina is the better wrestler, and she is probably gonna get more of the takedowns. I just think that Grotto's a better defender on the ground than the other people that Valentina's fought. Let me say that.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be a key for Grasso. So you're really going to have to work on that defense. But for me, that's why I said everything you said pretty much was spot on. But to me, it's the law word to wrestlers,
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, the Carla Esparza fight,
and
she
it
didn't look
seems
good on the ground for sure, but when they were yeah, but when they were up, like
better
she
grappler.
was striking right in her face. But round three, yeah, but round three, Carla took over and she was just like all like she took pretty much
Just dragged
5 minutes
her.
on the ground. But I agree with you. If this goes to the ground and if most of the fight is on the ground, let's say like multiple rounds are on the ground for 3 minutes at a time, you're most likely that's gonna lean towards Valentina for sure because the more time you're on the ground, Valentina is going to be able to use her body and her strong like shoulders to just like keep you on the ground, and literally she uses her knees on people's shins. She puts her knee like right near your side, like where you can't get up, and she definitely uses her strengths. But I just think that the way that Grotto is on the ground, she's going to be able to slip away. And one thing I did see in her training that she has been doing is a lot more work in wrestling, because I do think that she knows she's a prolific striker when she's standing up. I think that this is the time to like really work on other things in her game, and this could be her time. Who knows?
No, 100. I I just don't think that but like it's just not gonna happen on the ground for me, in my opinion. Um, so I think just getting grounded out like that by Valentina, it's gonna get to the third and fourth round. She's gonna get tired, give up a position, and Lord knows Valentina loves that crucifix.
Mm.
Uh, so I'm calling right here. Not only am I calling it a submission, I'm calling.
Wow. Oh, oh,
So I think it's gonna be a third or fourth round submission.
wow.
I'm leaning to a third.
Yeah, man. I just think I think you got a lot of reasons why Valentina is gonna win and why she should. For sure. I think this is one of the toughest fights that Valentina's had in the last like 5 fights. I'll say that. I think that this is gonna be her toughest title defense. Um, I just think it's going to the distance. Even though the submission, that's one thing you could always worry about because you never know when it can happen, and that could stop the fight right away. But even if Grasso gets beat up, I don't expect her to get knocked out. So the submission, you're right, that's a great possibility. I just expect her to go down to the distance because I don't think that even if they punch each other out, either one of these women are getting knocked out.
And then if a submission don't happen, I definitely got Valentina by decision.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, man. She's
But when's the last time she went to decision?
yeah, 6 fights ago, like literally. But I mean,
Basically.
it's been a while. But I just think this might be her biggest competition, and I'm going for the upset because honestly, this if she doesn't get it here, I mean, she doesn't get beat here, Valentina. I honestly don't see her getting beat by anyone else in her division. If you look down on her division, nobody else is up there that could beat her. So I don't know.
Not definitely. And obviously, like we talked about, but I have another episode about who is the woman goat.
Yeah,
But we definitely at least have her top two, top three, and definitely know that this is an impressive stand. 'Cause at the end of the day, seven title defenses,
good,
we can't even get there. Um, but
great.
one person who has
Mm-hmm.
got there, and one person who's been there and back at this point, he's held the longest title reign in the light
Yep.
heavyweight division. I think it was 1,500
Yep.
days. About the main event, heavyweight belt on the line, vacant. Benaganu was unable to sign the contract, and now we have John Jones coming. What most people thought was a retirement, because Lord knows most people thought, especially with those out of the cage problems, that he really wasn't coming back. Versus the already, if he without John Jones coming back, Cyril Gain is the best heavyweight in the division and in the world, and not in the world, but basically in the division because Nagano.
I was gonna say,
the limit.
yeah. There we
But
go. I
and
was gonna
then,
say, wait.
uh, so yeah, basically two two tanks going at each other. And let me tell you, before I say it, because John Jones looked big, boy. That man,
He does.
I understand why people didn't think he had to go up from anything under over 215. But he was convinced he had to at least have the frame to compete at 240 plus. And that's just
Tell
scary.
me about it, bro.
Like, even before we go into predictions of this fight, let's just talk about how scary that is for a
Very
second. The
scary.
man was regarded as the greatest mixed martial artist. On
Yeah, very
only
scary.
loss from his whole career was
I don't
disqualification
want to hear
from an
that.
illegal elbow that
I
was
don't want to
not an
hear
illegal
that.
elbow.
Daniel Cormier has even came out and said
And then Daniel contest testing positive when he got
Daniel
knocked
Cormier
out.
even came out and
The,
said that he shouldn't have that shouldn't have been a no contest because now that substance is legal in the UFC. So it wasn't back then, but whatever. After like 6 months, they made it legal. I don't know about that one, but the illegal elbows. Oh, in my mind, John Jones.
that wasn't
Yeah,
illegal.
in my mind, he's
So
talking.
like, at the end of the day, he hasn't been defeated in the cage. He hasn't been defeated in the
Exactly.
sports
He's
of
never been
martial
defeated.
arts, and never been defeated. Great, his own worst enemy. We can clearly see that. But we're talking about the most ferocious fighter the sport has ever seen, and having him at heavyweight now, like I said, thick frame of a heavyweight, that's just
Yeah.
scary with the athletic. Like, and that's crazy because if we can see anyone that was close to what we don't know what John Jones is at, but if we can envision someone who John Jones is, there's Cyril Gate. That's what John Jones is. That's scariness. Granted, John Jones, I think, is a little bit more prolific. A lot of people give Cyril Gain the edge for striking, but I'll be honest, I do think that like John Jones is a little bit different when it comes to the type of striking he has that makes him unique. Where in you're not going to be a better striker than him. To me, you know what I mean. So closest thing we can come to seeing what we can envision. So the fact that the first time we get to see John Jones in the cage at heavyweight is against Cyril Gain. At the end of the day, we all know Ngannou is not a one trick pony like our boy Derek Lewis, but it's not the bag isn't
Right.
as
We knew
deep.
he was a great striker, but his wrestling was getting better. But he never got his wrestling to a top wrestling level in the UFC.
Exactly. And while crazy enough, we better wrestling skills than Ngannou, he did get beat by wrestling in
That's
their
true.
fight. He's still more of a well-rounded fighter when it comes to overall skill
I don't
set.
agree with
So
that.
two,
I think Ngannou's way more of a well-rounded fighter than Gain.
no,
Yeah, I mean at this point he
we
got
got
beat
to.
by wrestling.
But that's the thing. But Ngannou's only given us one fight of wrestling, and it wasn't even good
It was
wrestling.
good
Like
enough. It was good enough to be the. It was good enough.
but even then,
But we're comparing both of them
even
though. I
but
mean,
like,
I mean, I can see what you're saying, but
but
I think
but
that
that's the thing because a striker than Ngannou. He got more power than Ngannou, but still gain until we see John Jones throw a punch in that cage this weekend. Cyril Gain is the most prolific heavyweight fighter when it comes to just hands. Kickboxer, he's the
I
most
could definitely
prolific
agree with
heavyweight.
that. No, I was talking about like overall as a fighter, comparing Ngannou and Gain. I think Ngannou's a better overall fighter than Gain. Like as far as overall
Well,
skills.
what I mean by that, I mean skill. Well, for me, when I mean skill set, I mean deeper, like a deep bag.
No, but remember, Ngannou, he was young in the UFC and like Ngannou
Right?
just got into
No,
one thing about Cyril Gain. They used Ngannou and him. They used to practice together in France. They were fight partners in France for a while. But Cyril Gain's been in the fight game since he was 13 years old. Ngannou he just started fighting when he was like 26, 27 years old. So Ngannou still had time. I mean, we can definitely talk about him. as well, like in the future, because that's a good question. That's really a good question. Like, who's got the better skill set? Because we can even put John Jones in there. I mean, John Jones, you could say he's prolific in every sense of the way.
I mean, John Jones to me have, and that's the thing. Like, we could talk predictions, and we haven't even gotten there yet. But like, we all thought Cyril had a better skill set than Nagano won. So I'm not even talking about who I'm picking yet. But when we talk about Jones, I feel like he has the best skill set in the
100%. He's
UFC.
got all three levels. He can submit people. He can knock
Mm-hmm.
people out, and he's got great defense as well, which is insane for a big guy like that to have great defense.
Right, to be that big, that his fucking wingspan
Yeah, and
is
reach,
reaching
the
so
reach for
long.
sure. Him being able to, like, I don't know if you notice his body, like his legs are so damn long, and compared to his like waist,
So
the head, like,
long,
so
bro. Yeah, the fucking jab.
yeah. And whenever people try to take him down and they go for those like takedowns, he literally he'll do like that tree stance where the triangle stance basically. So he doesn't go down because his feet, he keeps them so wide, and he never goes down. Takedown defense overall in the UFC 95%. So my man rarely goes down when somebody is unless it's a trip or like a really really nice takedown. He rarely goes down.
Nah, 100%. But pretty much, it's so funny because we were just going back and forth, just going off. Everything started. What I was trying to say was we have the deepest skill sets, like two of the best heavyweights that we can imagine going against each other. To where this fight can go deep in the trenches, and it is going to, and we're really going to see what each man is made up. And I absolutely
Yeah,
love
man.
it. So,
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a
do you
good
want
one for him.
we didn't
No, we really didn't, but
want me
it's
taking it yet.
honestly, it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be insane because, like you said, we have not seen John Jones in the ring, and until we see him in the ring, we don't know what to expect for him as a heavyweight fighter. One thing about his training though, he did say that for this fight, he's not gonna cut any weight. So that's why that actually puts him in an advantage a little bit, and
That's why he tried to go slowly up to 240. Like,
exactly.
that's his frame, and whatever he needs to do
Yep.
at
And
that.
he's said he said that he never takes fights or like quick fights. He'll never take a quick fight. He always likes to prepare for his fights, and this has been a 6-month preparation, and he hasn't, like, he's gotten to this weight around 6 months ago, and he stayed at this weight. So he's been able to train at this weight, and it looks like from the training sessions that he's had, from what we're hearing, he has the endurance. He's been doing a lot of aquatic training, been swimming. That definitely helps you with endurance. And honestly, with him having this reach, it's definitely gonna help him stay away from Cyril Gain, because, like you said, Cyril Gain's definitely got crazy knockout power, crazy knockout power. I would probably give it him, Derek Lewis, like Ngannou or top three right there. Derek Lewis obviously number one, but you know Cyril Gain's up there for top three knockout power as a heavyweight fighter. John Jones can do it too, but he's definitely a more technical fighter. John Jones likes to be more technical with a little bit of style there. He can come around and he'll do like a spinning back punch or something, or he'll do like a jumping knee, or he'll do like some stylistic things that make you say like, wow, like this man is the best athlete in the UFC we've ever seen, which I would never see Cyril Gain doing. One thing that I'm wondering is really how much conditioning John Jones has for this fight. If he's gonna be able to have the speed that we've always seen him have in the UFC, then this is not even gonna be a matchup, because I see Cyril Gain as being a lot slower than John Jones, especially from what I used to see from John Jones. Like I said, we haven't seen him lately, but I still think that if he keeps his conditioning to what it used to be, even like 80% of what it used to be, and he's going to be able to take care of business in this fight. And honestly, I do think that he'll get hit a few times early, especially with the nerves. He hasn't been there in a while. The crowd is going to be jumping. They're really going to be hype. It's going to be definitely a crazy atmosphere. So he definitely might be a little bit nervous in the beginning. Nerves might hit, and he might get hit a few times. But once he gets himself a minute or two, I think he's going to get back into 100% John Jones, the GOAT era John Jones. And I see this man going for strikes, especially head strikes, right-left combos. I see him trying to keep this fight on the ground, and most of the fight on the ground, and definitely see him dominating most of the fight. But I'm not gonna give you my prediction yet, because I do think that I have some things to say about Gain too, though. But what do you think though about this one though? Who you got for this fight?
It's like I said, the reason why like you said, John Jones is so technical, and that's why I said the only scene that ever has been a technical fighter was Cyril Gane.
Yeah,
We haven't seen
true.
the day, like you said, Bon Gammon still has been able to knock out and go toe to toe. Like think about Tai Tuivasa, another person you got to add there. Him and
Yeah,
Derek Lewis. He went toe to toe with both
yeah,
of
yep,
them
yep.
out. Obviously, he also knocked out Dos Santos. He's got submissions. He's got decisions. He can take it any which way. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's why it is going to be a real battle. I got two fighters at heavyweight that we've never seen before. We've never seen a fight like this get set up where they both are prolific on all three levels, and no one knows which way this fight can end. Uh, but just how kind of you was mentioning, just at the end of the day, like it's John Jones. I'll be honest, like think about picking John. But at the end of the day, I'm like, listen, 2 years off. Know what to say. Just I don't know what to expect. I know still got those skill set. I know what he has to offer. Uh, and I know training isn't everything. But I will fight weeks. Training camp coming up. I like to really take a good look into the
That's true. Me
fighter.
too. Me too.
Say what doing. Um, and I love John's camp right now.
Yeah.
John's camp is set up real. He's like you said, he's staying at his weight for all these months, been fighting nothing but
Yep.
big boys.
Yep.
Every single intention of taking this fight to the ground, leaving it on the ground. I promise you, John might go out there and throw less than touches around their feet.
Oh, wow.
Wants to go in there, show a little bit. I really think he's adamant about, like, because to him, going out and fight with the big boys isn't what he got big for.
Mm.
When it comes to standing up, they all could fight. None of them could.
Wrestling is their problem usually. Usually, like for the big boys, that's the problem.
Yeah. John Jones wants to go out there, and that's why that's what people don't understand. Like I'm obviously I'm guessing, you know what I'm saying? I'm not John Jones. But people could not understand, like, why would you need to go up 50 pounds to stay where you're at? Because 100% John Jones at being to 205 out. And I'm gonna say knockout because the last couple fights, like he had the last 3 fights with decisions, so he started to slow down a little bit. But he could have went out there and got some ground and pound or submissions on some heavyweights, or got some decisions on heavyweights. I would say even knocked out, because once you get one of those type of heavyweights that's been out wrestled for 2 rounds to the ground, they might just be too tired to even try to.
That's a good point, especially
really
if it's a championship matchup, 3rd, 4th round, 5th round, you always see them getting like crazy tired. But one thing about Jones, man, like even in his last few fights, he didn't. I know they went to decisions, but he didn't look tired in that like 4th or 5th round. Like
no,
he's a guy that can withstand that.
At 205 to 215, he could have won in there and won fights and even probably won a belt. Like Stipe's not a
nah. He's like the perfect type of heavyweight you want to fight. Really, I mean. The thing about Cyril Gane, I think that his body type, the way that it looks like the most is like a taller Daniel Cormier, I guess you could say, with better striking.
Nah, Cyril Gane, no. Daniel Cormier was had a little gut. Cyril Gane,
I know he did,
is like but... once again, pause. But when it comes to heavyweight bodies, Francis is the predator. We get it, you know what I'm saying. But Cyril Gane was straight just.
Arms were crazy, crazy
bro,
arms, crazy arms.
That man was just
like
abs was solid. Like he was. Anthony Joshua boxer.
Yeah.
Like we'd never seen a heavyweight look like that and be agile, be strong, be quick. Obviously, but I think that's why John Jones did what he wanted to do because he wants to go in there and drag them big
Yeah,
boys
and
around. He didn't want to go out there at 205, 215, tap tap, win a nice
yep.
low. He wants to go in there and drag them big boys around. That's why he put the weight on positive that he's about to go in there and take this fight to the ground. And while Sergey has the skill set, I just it's hard to do. It's John Jones,
Yo,
bro.
John Jones, and like you just said, like the Anthony Joshua body, my man John Jones put on the weight, but my man still got a 8-pack. Pause, but like for real, my man is looking incredible for this fight, and I gotta say, I'm so excited to watch him. I know that a lot of people really, really, really wanted to see Ngannou and John Jones fight.
This
That's
is about a
stylistically, it is. Stylistically, it is because you got both of these guys. They can strike and they can both wrestle. I think that if you had Ngannou versus John Jones would have taken it to the ground and he probably would have controlled it on the ground.
easily because how do you stop a one?
But here's the thing, though, with this fight, I know you said that it's gonna go to. That's true with wrestling, but I know you said that this fight is gonna be mostly on the ground. I disagree, though. I think that Gain is gonna be the one that's gonna keep trying to get up. Even when he gets down, he's not gonna want to stay down. I don't see Gain trying to go for many takedowns on John Jones. I just don't, because like we said, John Jones has one of the best takedown defense in the UFC, top 3 in the UFC. I just think that with him being able to like stay off the ground, Searle is not gonna try as much and try to put him down as much, and they're gonna try to stay up. Now, with that being said, I do think that Searle gives himself a little bit of an advantage there because if he's able to like touch John Jones with some punches, then he can ring him. And I don't think John Jones has gotten punched even in training. He hasn't gotten real punched like this, in 2 years. So, it's gonna be tough for him, but his conditioning comes down to it. Going into the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, I think Searle Gain is going to start getting a little bit more tired, and that's when John Jones shows out and he shows who he really is. He shows that he's one of the best stand-up fighters as well as a wrestler and the technician on the ground. I see him really going in the 3rd round and beating up on Cyril Gain's face and honestly getting him nice, and then Cyril Gain falling down close to the cage, and then John Jones 1, 2, 3. The referee comes over and stops it all. 3rd round knockout, John Jones. That's what I think is going to happen, to be honest, though. But I want to hear. I really want to hear what you think, though. How you think this is gonna end? Because you almost seem like you're going John Jones, but you're not 100% sure, right?
So I definitely think it's a close fight, but I think that John is on a mission when it comes to what he want to accomplish. And the fact that Cyril Gain isn't gonna go for takedowns, but unfortunately, the one thing that basically lost him the fight. It wasn't that Ngannou out wrestled him.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Ngannou took him down,
Stay on top, yeah.
and Cyril Gain couldn't get
true.
up. That's what happened. Ngannou didn't out wrestle him. He didn't out. It wasn't transit. He just and he couldn't get up.
Yeah.
If those are the not John Jones, awakening and a rough night. So for that reason, I got John Jones, but I got it by decision. You got a very good point. It could turn into a ground and pound situation. The ref called him off. But for the most part, I do think that John is. Cyril Gain isn't a bum, so it's not like John's gonna run right through him. That's why I do got to go into decision. But I do think, just like the Valentina fight, it's gonna be a fight about control time. Because and that's the thing. I hope he's prepared to take it to the ground because that's like that. I'll be honest. That's just some sweet guy to John, and like he's flat out even said it. Like he said it. He don't think the Frenchman's been tested. He don't think that
I agree.
like he said.
I'll be honest. I agree. Other than Ngannou, I don't think he has.
I'm not just saying the word trenches because I like the word. Like I'm taking. He is going to drag him in the trenches, and I know exactly what that means.
He wants
I
to
know
bring
exactly
him
what
down and put
that
his
means.
body on top of him and hold control,
He's gonna
get him
drag him.
tired.
Yeah, he's gonna drag him. As I'm saying, he's not worried about going tit for tat with someone who got really good striking. He's
I
not
could see
worried
that for
about that.
sure. It's just that Ngannou was a little bit heavier, than John Jones is. John's pulling 240, Ngannou was almost 260, so he was at like 255.
But Jones is gonna be stronger.
Yeah.
Nagano probably has stronger right hand, but when it
No,
comes
that's
to
what I mean.
wrestling
Like,
strong, being able to get a takedown,
no, once they were
happened.
once Ngannou was on top of Cyril Gane, he was able to like put his body like
It
on
was
top of him.
over.
He was a lot heavier. With John Jones being a little bit lighter, Cyril Gane might have a little bit of an advantage being on the ground.
He
You
won't
don't think he'll be able to get up from those?
because John Jones can actually
Yeah,
wrestle. That's what I'm
He's
saying. John Jones don't need the 20
yeah.
prolific wrestler. He will out transition out. He'll pretty much just go in and out of all the cuts and just pretty much not be able. Nagano game would not be able to get himself easily out. Let's say he struggled with Nagano. Nagano don't even know anything against. You're going against
The goat,
a person with a wrestling pedigree that's literally world class. Yeah,
world class, exactly. Yeah.
you're screwed.
No, I mean I'm
You're screwed.
100% with you. I just want to play devil's advocate for a bit, but I just I even like the stuff that Cyril Gane's been saying. Like he said that like he doesn't need training camp. He can be lazy and still fight this fight. And I mean his coaches came out and said like, oh, that's not what he meant. He didn't mean that he's not training. Like, all right, but he said it. Like he said that. He said he doesn't need training for this fight. When John Jones came out and said, "I've been training for this fight for the last 6 months," so the more prepared fighter and the one that's like really focused in is my man John Jones. And John Jones even said he believes that this is destiny. It's his destiny to come back and get that heavyweight championship again.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely is someone who regrets his bad choices. He still think that he's a warrior sent from God, sent
That's
to
what he said.
this earth to be put in that cage to beat people's
That's
face in.
exactly what he said.
In the name of the Lord
That's what he
Jesus.
said. That's what he said. You just gave him that power,
hey,
boy.
hey, to each their own.
No, but it's definitely gonna be a
So
chess
yeah.
match early. Like this is literally gonna be a crazy fight, especially early. I can see both these boys like really trying to figure each other out early.
hmm And that's what I said. Once John gets hurt, you know where he going.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Single leg.
yeah. Get that single leg takedown. Just bring him right up. Bring him right up. Yeah.
I think he's going for the double. I think he wants to slam him the first time. Really, get
Man.
on game.
I'll be
He's gonna have to
honest,
get real
man.
low. He's gonna have to get.
I think
low.
most of this fight is gonna be on the ground for me. I really believe that. I think most of this fight is gonna be on the ground. Even if Jones gets a takedown, I think Cyril will be able to like somehow slip away. His wrestling might be better, but I still got Jones, the GOAT, coming back. And then like looking past this fight, you got a lot of exciting things in the UFC. Obviously, we don't even know what's going on with Ngannou, though. What do you think about him, though? What do you think is gonna happen to him?
It's over. Over with the UFC. We won't see the guy no fight once that relationship got back to each other. There's no standing contract. There's no coming back. Like there's very I don't even know a person that's done that with their
Yeah, not a
like I
not a
can't think
prolific
of
fighter
one.
like Ngannou, not a
Like
title fighter.
some of them with contract disputes, negotiations, but every
Yeah.
and I just like there's nothing. Neither side is gonna give in enough to come back. So that's over.
Looks like he's going to Pride.
Yeah, definitely can go to other organizations. At the end of the day, he might do well in one as well. I mean, at the end of the day, UFC as Americans, that's our powerhouse. But they do not hold a monopoly over the mixed martial arts.
Especially when you look at Asia.
I definitely,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with one, the matches they put together, the rules they put together, the tournament style
Yep.
playoffs.
And
I
I've been watching
definitely
one since like
think that's what they're.
'05, and they've always had some great matches. And honestly, what used to happen is the the one championship guys, when they would win a championship there, or they were prolific over there, they would come on to the UFC. But what it's looking like now is that
They're getting
they
the money.
they got big enough where they got that league, and then there's also another, UF
I think they got
oh,
the
PFL. There you go.
PFL,
That's what it was. Yep, Professional Fighting League.
and I
Professional
think
Fighting
the
League. Yep.
PFL the I think PFL is the one with the playoff
They do. Yep. They got a playoff
format.
format. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause that's where that brought
Kayla Harrison. Yeah. Kayla
yeah,
Harrison.
Kayla
Yeah.
Harrison.
Yeah.
Yeah, still waiting on her
I
ass.
mean, she
Uh,
she just she got a new contract with them, so she has like 3 fights,
I
and supposedly by the end of 2023, there was news about her too, that she could possibly move on to the UFC. Nobody really knows what's going on with that though, but that's just
yeah,
speculation.
I know.
But what's really not speculation is the last news that I wanted to bring out for the UFC, because this is huge news. Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor are gonna be coaches for the Ultimate Fighting Championship this year. And
I love it.
and at the end of the year, they're gonna fight. Woo.
I love it. I love it.
What do
I
you think about that? That's great news, right?
honestly, yes and no.
Hmm.
Um, it's funny because I'm not gonna give a prediction. 'Cause at the end of the day, what I think now,
It can always
it
change.
can
Yeah, yeah,
100% change if
yeah.
if I get proof of what I see towards the fight. But I'm over Conor and
Mm,
I'm
uh-huh.
over him. So where I stand now as a like this podcaster, not unbiased sports fan. This is me being biased. This is Melo. I would love to see Chandler knock Connor out. I don't know because it's not like Connor's a scrub. But I loved when he got beat by Dustin. No, the second when he got injured, but he was already getting rocked in that first.
We've already
Um,
talked about this. I disagree with that.
I know. But the stuff open too much, and Connor still at that southpaw position. So
100%.
I
Yeah,
at this point I can't even put one over the other
yeah. At this
because
point, you really can't. You really
yeah, because
can't.
Chandler probably you should put Chandler because of activity, experience, coming in, been rumbling with the top of the division for the last year and a half. But also why he's been rumbling how many times at that point, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? And why he's a fire like
And never
we
been able to
also
get over the top either. So, but
and
no, that's for sure. And that's one
we don't know
that's
at
one reason
all.
why I think the speculation about this is what's more exciting, is because like you really don't know what you're
Yeah.
getting from Connor. And I'll be honest, I'm the opposite from you. I love Connor's antics, and this may be just being
Connor, yeah.
maybe a biased media personality individual, and just being able to talk about him. Or I love seeing what Connor has to say, because literally whatever he has to say, people listen like whenever he opens them out.
Popping too many perks lately and just going
I
off.
mean, lately it's been a little bit different for sure. Like when he was a champion in the UFC, he definitely backed it up.
Oh no. Honestly for him it went all downhill once he started fucking with Floyd in his lane. Truthfully, yeah, he got rich off of it, but
I don't know, man.
that was the last
I'm
of it
I'm
for him when it came to
I'm
his
taking
glory
80 million to get
days.
beat up by Floyd. I'm taking it.
Then he changed. He let it change
Yeah,
his
yeah, yeah,
life. Like he should have went back to
yeah.
the grind. He wasn't hungry after that anymore. He got comfortable, got
I,
complacent, lost the fight. And some people
no,
say
no.
he
You know
didn't,
what? That's a
but it
good point.
shows. It shows.
And that's a good point. And you know what? That could be an episode that we could do in the future, because a lot of athletes, they've talked about this. Once you go over top, once you win either like an MVP or in the NBA or NFL, or you win a Super Bowl championship, or you win an NBA championship, how do you get that fire back that you can win another one again? With the Warriors in the NBA, they had problems with that. Even with Mike Tyson back in the day, he had
It
he
got
had
boring.
different ways that he made himself hungry. He used to, what Mike Tyson used to say is, he used to talk shit, like he used to write stuff down, like quotes that weren't even real, from the people he was fighting. He was like, "Oh, this guy said this
Yeah,
about
this
me.
fucker
This
said
guy
that your
said
mom was
right."
poor.
Like this, This was
Like
literally
you
Mike
ain't got
Tyson.
no money or bitches.
So like literally like
Swear to God.
some fight or some athletes, they got their own like little ways of getting that fire in them, and it's interesting because John Jones, his fire is he thinks this is destiny, so that's a good way to
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
it
He think
to
it's a
bring it all back.
warrior from God sent down here to earth to beat
But
people
we're
up.
gonna leave it at that, and we want to hear your guys' predictions on the UFC fights, and as well as everything else we talked about. If you guys want to give your predictions on the top 3 fights that we just talked about in UFC 285, if you want to give them your prediction again, we both went with let's just call him Rock. Yeah,
Yep.
we both went with Rock in the first fight against Neil. Then in the
Actually, let me try. Shavkat, Rock.
there you go, you got
I
that.
got that.
I call him Shav Rock. Shav Rock. I think I made that nickname for him. They just call him Rock. But anyways, right. In the Valentina versus Grasso fight, that's the only fight we pretty much got different. And you got Valentina, I got the underdog Grasso. We'll see that one. And then the top fight, the matchup everyone's been waiting for, John Jones versus Rogaine. We both got to see the GOAT win.
Definitely a rocking card, and obviously a card that I do think is going to be a good card is your boy Bowden. And definitely he's going to have a good fight. 3 debut.
Mm-hmm.
Prolific college and high school wrestler. Someone that's up and coming. I am big fans of him and Raul Rosas Jr.
Nice.
And we get to see
Yeah, we
both
do.
of them this year. Starting really get so definitely looking forward to seeing it. He's on the main.
He is,
card. He's
and
the
I'm
fifth
actually
card.
a fan of Matez Gama on the main card as well. He's a lightweight, and
Yeah, the one. Yep.
you know what? He's got a promising future. That's all I'm going to say about him. But definitely an amazing fight card this weekend. So make sure you guys go ahead and leave your predictions. Who you think is going to win these fights? Also, predictions for future fights in the UFC and anything else. If you guys want to, make sure you click the like button on this video and go over and click that subscribe button. We love every single one of you guys. So thanks for following along. And make sure you guys check out our Patreon, because that's where you guys want to ask us our questions. You guys want to put some different topics that we can talk about, especially now that you got NBA over with. I'm sorry, NFL over with. NBA is not even close to over, but NFL's over with. We got a little bit more time for some opinionated episodes, so definitely that's a place to go to give your opinion. And if you guys want to check us out on our social media pages, I'm at The Iconic Dude, and Melo is
Melo Notorious.
That's right. And of course, like we both said, we just started up the website.
Yes, whoyourguys.com. Definitely gonna make sure we got everything that's available to you there. Just to make sure things in one spot, and obviously we continue to give you all the quality sports content.
Exactly. So definitely go check that out. www.whoyougotpodcast.com. Appreciate all of you guys, and make sure you guys check us out on the next episode of Who You Got With. And Rado. Peace, y'all.